Davante Adams is getting traded. I don't care what Telesco is saying. And I understand he likes Antonio Pierce. I like Antonio Pierce. I don't play for Antonio Pierce. I was happy that the Raiders gave Antonio Pierce a chance. But here's the thing. If Antonio Pierce goes 0-4 or 0-5 early this season, he's going to be out. Because there are quite a few coaches that didn't get hired this offseason that are going to be available. And Antonio Pierce is going to have to go full throttle this season if he has any chance of surviving through that season. So I question the whole Telesco thing. And by the way, he comes from the Chargers, okay? How many wins and how many championships have the Chargers won since 2013? Absolutely nada, okay? How many playoff runs has this organization had in the last 11 years?
They won 2 playoff games.
Rest my case. Why am I going to listen to Telesco? Was he one of the reasons why they hired their last coach? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Davante Adams is going to stay here. Because right now, they want 2 first-round draft picks for Davante. Davante is going to be 32 at the beginning of the season. There's no way they're getting 2 first-round. They're not even getting a first for him. You could get a second and a third. I could see them getting something like that, or 2 seconds.
I don't even see that. I see a third, not a second.
He'll get a second.
Just because
the contract.
Just because I was just saying because of the contract. Well, yeah. I don't know. It just sometimes just depends on the organization too, though.
It's crazy, and I understand why Telesco is saying that, because he wants to make sure he can get as much as he possibly can for Davante Adams if he does become available. He's not going to just go out there at the combine or go out there before the combine press conferences and say, hey, Davante Adams is up and he's ready to be traded. Any buyers out there? Any buyers out there? He's not going to do that. He's going to wait until free agency, and he's going to realize, hey, you know what? I think we could get something back, something high back for Davante Adams. Maybe we can trick the Jets and get other teams involved in Davante Adams and maybe get pry a future first from him or pry a future second from him. And I could see that happening because the Jets don't have a second-round draft pick this year. But, hey, next year they do. So maybe they say, okay, you want Davante Adams? Well, we want a third this year, and we want a second next year. And knowing the Jets, because of Aaron Rodgers, why wouldn't the Jets do that? They need a number 2 guy, and that's what the Jets are going to be looking at this offseason as they dropped Laken Tomlinson. Why did they do that? They dropped Laken Tomlinson because they're trying to open up cap room. They have $30 million right there from the prime contract, but they're also looking to shed contracts. And now you're hearing that Bryce Huff might only be worth, they might only have to pay him $12 to $14 million a year, which is the deal that I'm hearing. So you give Bryce Huff a 3-year, a 4-year, $13-14 million contract with incentives. I think Bryce Huff signs it. And the Jets still have a load of money to bring back Michael Carter and bring back a wide receiver and some offensive line help, which, by the way, they're going to need desperately. Where do they go now going into the offseason? Are they going to trust that they're going to get a lot back from Davante Adams if they do put him on the trade block? And I do believe he'll be put on the trade block once free agency opens up, because there are only like 4 wide receivers that are available right now. We were talking about Michael Pittman. He's one guy that a lot of people believe will be available. Calvin Ridley is going to be available because there was no way that the Jacksonville Jaguars were going to hold on to him, because they would have had to give up a second-round draft pick. So there's a lot of things looking at where the Raiders are, where they have a guy that they can get something back for, because there is nothing else out there. Brandon Ayuk is probably signing back with the 49ers. After the $30 million that they're getting from the Prime deal, I think they're going to take that $30 million and they're going to invest it in Brandon Ayuk. And I know, Sean, we were talking about that last week, that you said he's going nowhere. Now with that $30 million, I thought it was going to be somewhere around 15, 16 million. Now you're hearing it's going to be double that. They could just take that money, flip it right into Brandon Ayuk. And I think that's where they're going to go.